from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Your source for the Department of Energy's environmental cleanup news. Energycast starts now.
Hi everyone, I'm Summer Dash. Welcome to your October episode of Energycast. Let's get started with some energy bites.
And then, look at around us. It's a beautiful day. You can't beat it. It's like this 365 days a year.
That is the new mayor of Roane County. We are getting to know him in just a few minutes here on Energycast. We'll let you know more about what has him optimistic about the future of East Tennessee. It's not often you get this many top government and industry leaders in one spot, and all in East Tennessee. Find out what brought them to our area and hear about some exciting opportunities available right here in Oak Ridge.
And so just walking in the doors and seeing the replica posters of what you see here stays here and all that, it just really made sense, right? That she didn't talk about it. And so now it's like I'm on a bit of a quest to find out.
A granddaughter on a mission. We've got a bit of a mystery we're hoping you'll help us solve. There's a woman who once worked on the Oak Ridge Reservation, but her granddaughter doesn't know much more than that. As she follows in her late family member's footsteps, she's hoping to uncover more. We're going to show you what we found out and see if you may help us fill in the missing pieces. We'll get to all of those important stories in just a moment, but first, some top DOE and industry leaders made their way to East Tennessee recently. The Energy Technology Environmental Business Association, or ATEBA, held its annual conference in Knoxville. So this is a group headquartered in our area, but with members all across the country. Our team had a chance to catch up with some of the people making the most important decisions about cleanup in the U.S. Here's who we bumped into and what they had to tell us.
We have a larger number of exhibitors than we've had in many years. So we've had to grow out into the hall because we have just outgrown the space that we have available. These companies are small, medium, and large companies who want to use this opportunity to connect with the right people who they'll be doing business with in the future. These companies are from across the country.
Well, certainly as we work with the cleanup program at Oak Ridge, it's really important that we integrate our activities here with the community, with the Office of Science, and with Y-12, the NNSA folks, because all of those things work together in conjunction to be able to set the community and these other programs up to be successful in the long run.
Environmental management, science and energy, and national security are not only making our nation stronger, but they create business opportunities for entrepreneurs and business leaders across the community who then provide incredible job opportunities as well as give back to the community.
We have to be reliable and consistent in the ability to maintain our deterrent, and we need the new infrastructure, modern infrastructure, to do that reliably into the future. And so EM is actually enabling the national security mission by coming into Y-12 and taking down that old Manhattan era facilities.
Through all of this, the mission has to continue to be delivered. So it is a day-to-day partnership. We absolutely have to have EM and we have to have Ucor on the site in order to modernize where we want to go in the future, and recognize that I'm not saying months, I'm not saying years, right? The work that we have to do really is decades. So when you talk about, I want a career here in East Tennessee, the work is certainly decades long.
This site has an incredible reputation for the cleanup program, right? Everybody who does work here at Oak Ridge is part of one of our most successful cleanup activities across the country. Great at strategic planning and working with the community, and working with NNSA, and working with the Office of Science. So everyone involved, from the folks who are on the deck plate doing the hard work to the folks in management trying to organize it all and keep it all aligned, everyone is doing a great job here at Oak Ridge.
We have an update for you on the Environmental Management Disposal Facility, or EMDF. It's a new landfill that is key to continuing cleanup in Oak Ridge. So what you're looking at right here is a rendering of that project. Officials from DOE, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and State of Tennessee just signed a really important document that allows that project to move forward. DOE needs this facility to continue advancing cleanup at the Y-12 National Security Complex and Oak Ridge National Laboratory. So the current disposal facility is more than 80% full. There are a lot of buildings still left to be taken down. EMDF provides enough space to finish the cleanup at those sites. The recent signing allows DOE to work on a final design and begin site preparations. We'll have more on that topic next month. Hey, let's go on a tour, shall we? Construction is done on the mock test facility. You may hear it referred to as the Sludge testing facility as well. Last month, we showed you this pretty cool virtual rendering of it. Now, we are taking you through the real thing and showing you exactly what it does.
Hey, Steve. This design is a one of a kind. Been designed to exactly replicate the real Melton Valley storage tanks. Getting rid of the historical hazards that have been accumulating for the past 70 plus years. A lot of good work has been going on out in Oak Ridge ever since the Manhattan Project, and there are byproducts of that no one really knew how to deal with or had a plan to deal with or was ready to deal with. It was always, hey, we'll get to that later. Now it's later. Basically everything that we're testing here is purely to demonstrate that we can take a settled sludge mixture, we can move it, we can control the density.
So the sludge is basically it's the material that's been stored out in the Melton Valley storage tanks, and where that originated from is back in the Manhattan days, the Cold War era. A lot of it was for the war efforts as well as research and development processes, and as it went through the liquid low-level waste process, they condensed some of the material and it created this sludge, and the sludge was transferred over to the Bethel Valley storage tanks and then to the Melton Valley storage tanks. So it's an accumulation of decades of material that's become enriched with transuranics, metals such as plutonium, lead, americium, uranium.
A 50,000 gallon storage tank that's again an exact replica of the tanks with the actual radioactive sludge. This project, as a technology maturation element, doesn't use any radioactive material, but we've created a couple of simulant batches that will replicate what we expect to experience in those tanks. So these are our two 250-gallon charge vessels. These have the ability both to pull material out of the tank and push back into the tank. So from the control room, we can see everything that's going on. Jet pump pairs. Before anybody does anything, it's not just what do we need to do, but it's what are the things that we need to do to make sure that we stay safe.
When we solidify it, it'll be a safe to dispose form.
After that, we'll be able to begin the design of the full-scale facility. This is representative of some of the cleanup that we're doing out here to make sure that the valley is safe for the community for foreseeable future.
Testing at this facility begins later this year. It's expected to last about 2 years. The site will then be decommissioned. Demolition is starting on the bulk shielding reactor. We first brought you a video of that last month. This project is a big deal because it marks the first former reactor to come down in ORNL's central campus area. Its demolition is the start of significant changes in store at the site. Energycast's Cameron Jacobs caught up with the safety and health manager to talk about the project and Ucor's strategy for the next demolitions planned nearby.
And the thing about ORNL is you don't have a large area of land to do demo on. So that forces Ucor as a company to remove as much source term inside the building as they can.
Derek Auld is a safety and health manager that has worked with the process of getting ORNL's 3010 bulk shielding reactor building ready to come down. He and his team have overcome some unique challenges in preparation of the official demo.
I've went through the deactivation phase being on the project. Where we, went through and took out all the radiated material out of the pool, took all the process piping out,
This manager appreciates the engineering of this old building and understands why they built things the way they did.
Just looking back at, they put the first reactor in underwater, and it was easy. It was a very simple concept, and it was easy to manipulate.
The bulk shielding reactor is the first demolition of a reactor facility at ORNL on the DOE Oak Ridge Reservation. It is the first of several major demo projects happening at ORNL in the near term, including Building 3005 right next door, as well as Building 3042.
When you're doing work like this, it's a lot of times it gets high risk. Starting out with the smallest one, I'd say easy, and then moving your way up is a good graded approach to take, which is what Ucor's done.
One of those next buildings alt-referenced is the Oak Ridge Research Reactor, also known as Building 3042. It's next to the bulk shielding reactor that workers are currently taking down. But this building is a lot bigger. You're getting a look inside that facility right now, and what you're seeing is crews installing scaffolding over the reactor pool they'll use in the coming weeks to continue deactivation in the building. The Oak Ridge Research Reactor is one of the buildings next up for demolition in ORNL's Central Campus. Next, we're moving over to Y-12, where we are revisiting the old Criticality Experiment Lab. We were there in July covering the start of demolition. Here's video of that demo starting right there. And this time, not a whole lot to see. Crews have finished tearing down that 1940s era building. The two-story building was built in 1949 and it operated until 1992. Employees there conducted research related to nuclear reactor designs. In the first decade alone, staff there performed more than 9,700 experiments. The demolition project eliminates a deteriorated, unused facility at Y-12. Clearing away the old lab makes the site safer and opens land at the site that can be reused. Speaking of opening land at Y-12, crews have completed field work at the former biology complex area. Last year, workers finished tearing down the last of the 11 buildings that made up the biology complex. Since then, cleanup has been focused on ripping up the slabs left behind from those buildings. With the slabs removed and the area backfilled, that 18-acre area will now be transferred back to the National Nuclear Security Administration. That land is slated to be the future location of Y-12's new lithium processing facility, by the way. Crews are taking the first steps to get the massive Alpha 4 ready for future demolition. While its teardown won't happen for several more years, work does have to start now to get it ready. Ucor just began sampling, marking potential hazards, and removing fire hazards. Next up, workers will make sure there is no power running to that building. That's a process known as making the building cold and dark, and it makes it safer for other crews to come on in to deactivate the facility. Alpha 4 is a large, high-risk building that spans a 13-acre footprint. It was a former enrichment building that dates back to 1944. Addressing the facility is one of EM's highest priorities at Y-12. The report card is in for United Cleanup Oak Ridge, or Ucor. The contractor received $27.5 million for its performance from November 2021 through May of 2022. Now that figure marks 85% of the total that was available. EM issues full scorecards on Ucor's performance twice a year. Ucor is measured on its project management, operations, safety culture, and regulatory compliance. Top accomplishments noted in the report were completing work $129 million under budget during this 7-month span, exceeding small business subcontracting goals, and streamlining the process to transfer land back to the community. That full scorecard is available on your screen right now if you'd like to take a look for yourself. Scan that QR code or visit the website to check it out. Let's check in on the K-25 viewing tower. That project is at the East Tennessee Technology Park. It's taking another step forward. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers recently announced its plans to solicit bids to construct the facility. The Army Corps is formally releasing that request on October 31st. Companies interested in placing bids will be invited to the site on November 9th to learn more details about the project to inform their bids. Construction is intended to start 30 days after the award of that contract. K-25 K25 viewing tower will be a sizable addition for visitors at that site. It's pretty neat. It'll be located next to the new K25 History Center. So together, these facilities help preserve and share the site's unique history during the Manhattan Project and Cold War. For more information, head on over to this link there on your screen. You can also scan that QR code. It'll take you right there. After the break, we will be sitting down with a new mayor in town. His hopes, dreams, and goals for East Tennessee, from tourism to economy to the reservation.
Coming out, looking at the progress that's being made, making recommendations, being involved, it just feels sort of like a living legacy now. It's something to give to her legacy too.
You know, when we lose loved ones, we often find ourselves looking for any way to feel connected to them. An East Tennessee leader is now working with the Oak Ridge Site-Specific Advisory Board. She had no idea her own grandmother had worked on the Manhattan Project. Now, she needs your help to find out more. We're going to show you what info we've got and see if you can help us fill in the gaps. Introduce you to the new Roane County mayor. He met with us for a one-on-one interview. Mayor Wade Creswell has been involved in community outreach throughout much of his career. He had most recently been working with the East Tennessee Children's Hospital as Director of Development. Now, prior to that, he'd had experience at Oak Ridge National Lab. So let's go ahead and get to know him, what his goals are for our community, and how he plans to execute his vision. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. We're so excited to chat with you. You are very new to this position. When did you officially take office?
Today is day 36.
Not that you're counting.
Well, September had 30 days, and this is October 6th, so it's pretty easy math so far. I'll stop counting soon.
Gotcha. Okay, how's it gone so far?
Great, incredibly busy, lots of people to meet. Lots to learn about what's where and who's who and how it all works together.
And talk to us a little bit about your past. You have a nursing degree, you worked for Children's Hospital, and then you've got some business background and some ORNL thrown in there.
Yeah, it's as I was saying many times during the campaign, it's a long and winding path. So I went from being pre-med in college, but graduated with a bachelor's in nursing, worked in critical and emergency care for a few years. That led to a career in pharmaceutical sales, which led to a career in fundraising and development, which led into nonprofit management, economic development. Then I landed at Oak Ridge National Lab working with the community. Every role built on itself.
It is cool to look back at your career and realize, all of us, how it all builds on
I could not be here without all of that happening.
And we're sitting right now on looking out over the K25 site and right next to the museum. With all of that history here and obviously so much opportunity for growth in this area, especially relating to what takes place on the Oak Ridge Reservation. What are some of the goals you have for the reservation going forward?
Outside of just growing up here, and both of my grandfathers worked on the reservation their entire career. My dad's dad retired from K25, and my mom's father worked at Oak Ridge National Lab, or X10 at the time. So I'm a legacy in that regard. Oak Ridge has always been a part of my life. So while on day 36 we're still in that relationship building phase, or rebuilding kind of where I left off, I see so much potential in economic development on the reservation. You know, I know Oak Ridge and Roane County are both looking at what's next in industrial recruitment, but with the reindustrialization that's gone on from an EM perspective here at ETTP, with the cleanup effort at ORNL and Y-12 that is critical to make sure that their missions move forward. It opens up so many doors to bring in new jobs, to create recreational opportunities on the reservation, to teach about our history and heritage that we should be incredibly proud of, that I think that it gets lost in a lot of our people. I mean, there's just so much potential and opportunity, and I'm super excited to be a part right in the middle of that. It makes you proud to be here and and come from here and live here, but also just to understand as you visit here just what an incredible place this was in history. And then, I mean, look at around us, this beautiful day. You can't beat it. It's like this 365 days a year. If you're a visitor here, it's always like
right,
this.
There you go.
Yeah.
He doesn't lie at all. There's never any snow or cold
It's just
days.
a little exaggeration.
Little bit.
All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time on day 36. I'm sure you're very busy, so thank you for taking some of the time out to chat with us and share a little bit about yourself and your goals for us.
Thank you.
Top EM leader Ike White was in town. He had a very busy couple of days while he was here. We kept him busy. You saw him earlier attending the Atiba Business Opportunities Conference. He was this year's keynote speaker at that conference. White spoke about the importance of both large and small businesses for EM to make progress on its mission. Now, back in Oak Ridge, he was out in the field to see some of that progress. EM and Ucor took him to see the demolition and deactivation happening at ORNL and Y-12. He also spent some time with two key projects that just reached major milestones. Isotech employees walked him through their upgraded building just days before they started processing uranium-233. He also went out to the site of the future EMDF project. As mentioned earlier, federal and state officials just signed key documents for that project to move forward.
I got called into the office to come get a flyer about it, and I decided that it would be a very fun experience to become more involved with my school.
There is so much hope for the future, I promise. These Oak Ridge High School students are proof. Usually, it's really tough to get a teenager on camera. Well, not in this youth leadership class. I had no trouble. These are some impressive students, and they are absolutely nailing their public speaking skills. Our team had a hand in helping them build those up. Stick around so you can find out what this group has in mind to take over the world.
The only thing we ever really knew, or what my family says they knew about what she did, was all we knew is she had to change her clothes when she got there, and she had to take a shower and change her clothes when she left. That's all we really know.
And we are just minutes away from solving a mystery. Well, hopefully, with your help anyway. Do you know this woman? We are trying to help out a fellow East Tennessean and valued member of the Oak Ridge Site-Specific Advisory Board. This is her grandmother. Take a really good look here. When we come back, we're going to let you know what we know and what more we're trying to figure out. Welcome back. We are plugged into the community, this time with a group of Oak Ridge high schoolers. And let me tell you, they are going places. I was not this cool when I was a teenager, and I am absolutely in awe. Each of these students was nominated to participate in the Youth Leadership Program. They're sophomores and juniors at Oak Ridge High School. This is a year-long commitment where they learn leadership skills. Now, our communications team had a chance to help out with that. One teammate taught them how to give a proper handshake, while I got to teach them about elevator pitches and public speaking. The real test, though, came when I asked them to do an interview for this show about the Youth Leaders Program. Here's how it went.
It's really fun. A lot of my friends are here, and I like some of the stuff we're learning, so it's pretty cool.
It was just all the opportunities to learn how to be a good leader and to help my community. It really inspired me to take the opportunity.
It's already helped me with my communication skills and making eye contact with people while I speak, so I think it's already helping me move forward in my future.
It has helped, actually. It's got it, when I'm in big groups, I tend to feel not very comfortable, but I'm getting to know these people and feeling better about it.
All right, what do you think? Did they pass? I will tell you right now, at that age, I never would have hopped up and done an on-camera interview. They are such an impressive group, and we are so grateful to be involved in this program. So very hopeful for our future after participating. Good luck to all of you. We cannot wait to see what you do next. We've got a bit of a mystery to solve in this spotlight. Listen up, you may be able to help out. Shell Lohman is searching for answers.
I wish I could find. I actually tried to find.
In a city known for secrets.
Just like rosters of names of the Calytron girls, and I can't find them.
The K-25 History Center could prove to be a good place to start. And though she's been here before,
it was actually eerie coming into the museum today. This is the first time I've been in the museum since I learned about my grandmother.
This time, it's personal.
It's sort of by happenstance that I learned that my grandmother and her sister were actually, we believe, Calytron girls.
She's told June and Clara Kincaid were living in the Asheville, North Carolina area at the time. They had just graduated from high school.
Would get on the bus and come in and stay and then go back out. And the only thing we ever really knew, or what my family says they knew about what she did, was all we knew is she had to change her clothes when she got there and she had to take a shower and change her clothes when she left. That's all we really know.
An especially startling finding, considering Lohman thought she knew a lot about this place. She'd spent more than 5 years working at the Oak Ridge National Lab.
And just found out recently. And so it was so kind of bizarre to find out that somewhere that I've been working for several years and still had a really close connection to from obviously a community activity perspective, but also just from a history perspective. Anybody that has grown up here knows all about the history here. So it was just crazy to learn that, my grandmother was involved.
Lohman had no idea, even when she joined the Oak Ridge Site-Specific Advisory Board in 2017. She says she just felt called to volunteer.
It is interesting, and it made me so glad that I joined the board, because it's almost like, you see sort of the history attached to things. It's a way to sort of kind of carry on a legacy from a family perspective to make sure that we're still continuing to have a positive impact.
Lohman knows exactly what she's doing. Her motivation is to bring the land back to proper use. She'll tell you she's most proud of the mercury treatment facility, but for her grandmother, the goals weren't so clear.
There were lots of women, or younger women, that were doing this at the time, and they had no idea really what the contribution was that they were making. And it makes me wonder, after they learned what they had contributed to, what were her thoughts and what did she think about it? And there's no really way to know. She really didn't talk about it. I think that was part of it, right? You were taught you did not talk about what you did.
Which is why this granddaughter is left with so many questions.
I think she'd be really proud of the work. I think she would also feel honored, that this work is still happening today and that their impact is lasting.
Lohman's work has a whole new meaning. She hopes to honor that history.
So it's sort of like, I need to know this information. Like, I need to see your name.
While bringing her closer to her own. All right, if you or a family member know anything about Lohman's grandmother, June Kincaid, and her work here, we would really love to hear from you. Ask around. Oak Ridge is a small place with big work. See if someone remembers. We'll be sure to pass along that info to Shell. You can email us at oakridgem@orem.doe.gov. The email is on your screen right now. We would love to hear from you. And remember, we are always looking for news, tips, and story ideas. There's someone who works on the Oak Ridge Reservation you think has a story we should share. Maybe you've got a super coworker with a unique story. It can be directly related to their work in environmental management or not. Maybe you know of a neat upcoming project we should cover. If you want to see the news end up here, let us know about it. This is how we cover wonderful stories like Shell's. And we are so grateful for volunteers like her who help the EM program in such a big way. If you'd like more information on the Oak Ridge Site-Specific Advisory Board or to apply for membership, scan that QR code on your screen. Remember, no science background needed, you just have to care. Aim your phone camera toward it, tap the link, it'll take you to the website. That's a wrap on a very busy month for us. We've got another big one planned for you next time. Can you believe it is almost November? Wow. Our top story for November is years in the making. After lots of preparation, workers are processing uranium-233. That is our highest priority project at ORNL. We're going to walk you through why it is so very important. And we will highlight a program that is training and adding talented men and women to our workforce. We're also rolling out a strategic vision for the next decade. We'll tell you our top goals and projects that take us through 2032. Thank you for joining us for Energycast. New episodes come out on the third Sunday of the month. You can watch on air and online, and we post Energycast episodes on our Facebook and YouTube pages the day after they air. Head on over to follow us on our social media accounts. We are always happy to answer questions and share information with you there as well. And remember, if you work in environmental management in Oak Ridge, keep us in mind if you come across a story. We are always looking for news tips and story ideas from all across the reservation. Email your idea to oakridgeem@orem.doe.gov. Let us know there. You might just see it right here. See you next time.